Can you believe it all started because this man ate a single fish, directly causing the zombie virus to break out in full force? Unaware of the situation, people rushed him to the emergency room, accelerating the spread of the zombies virus until the entire hospital became a living hell, with over half of the 500 people inside infected, turning it into a full-blown survival battlefield. The male lead, determined to rescue his beloved wife, charged into the hospital alone, facing frenzied hordes of zombies. Could he fight his way out? As times continue to develop, nature is sending humanity various warnings, such as the continuously rising global temperature and more species facing extinction. Bacteria released by melting polar ice caps have caused the deaths of tens of millions of fish. Scientists predict this crisis could last for decades. Many countries face food shortages. It seems humanity is truly approaching the apocalypse. Siam has isolated itself from the outside world for over a decade to mitigate losses. Truck driver Singh was formerly a fighter in the underground boxing ring. These past few years he retired, taking on delivery work. However, Singh was preparing to quit because his lover Rin wanted to move back to their hometown, Chiangdao. Unexpectedly, while delivering goods halfway, his path was blocked by a broken-down car. Thieves ambushing the area swarmed in, attempting to hijack their cargo. Sadly, these guys hadn't heard of Singh's reputation. He was the former king of the underground ring. With just a few amateurs and their mediocre skills, they were no match for Singh. Even attacking him together wasn't enough for a proper warm-up. These small fries were only lining up to get beaten. Within minutes, bodies littered the ground. Singh and his companion resealed the truck compartment and left the scene. They worked hard to deliver this shipment, only to have their pay docked because one crate was damaged. His companion cursed while prying open the broken crate, discovering it contained a large fish. They hadn't eaten proper food in nearly 10 years. The companion decided to split the fish with Singh. Meanwhile, at a gathering in the wealthy district, several well-dressed VIPs were also enjoying fresh sashimi. From their conversation, it was clear these fish were supplied by Mr. Vasu and were the highest quality food available. Purik, seated at the head of the table, relayed a message on behalf of Mr. Vasu, hoping those present would join Vasu in establishing a new food business. As soon as Purik finished speaking, he felt nauseous. He violently vomited a large amount of black blood, collapsing backwards onto the floor, chair and all. Elsewhere, a street vagrant followed some scuttling insects on the ground, opened a manhole cover to an underground pipe, and dragged out a plastic bag containing some unknown animal meat. The vagrant treasured it like a prize, hugging the bag while trying to find a hiding spot, unexpectedly getting intercepted by some thugs halfway. Insects from the bag frantically crawled out. A disaster was silently erupting. Completely unaware, Singh returned home. A single delivery run kept him away for days. Rin had always disapproved of Singh doing such dangerous work, but he never listened. They had barely met when Rin had to leave for her night shift at the hospital. Singh didn't even get a chance to mention quitting his job. He watched Rin board the shuttle vehicle and leave. Loudspeakers on the streets continuously broadcasted power outage warnings. To conserve dwindling resources, the government would cut power uniformly at 8 p.m. Rin was a doctor at the nearby hospital. A surgery scheduled for tonight was suddenly interrupted when the director arrived, telling Rin to accompany him to the 10th floor. The surgery would be handled by someone else. The VIP zone on the 10th floor was a restricted hospital area, accessible only with high-clearance keycards, because Mr. Vasu's wife, Anne, was receiving treatment inside. Rin had just arrived when she saw the men who had eaten the sashimi being rushed in for emergency care. Before she could look closely, she was taken by the director to meet Mr. Vasu. He presented several chilled containers holding specially cultivated fish livers. Vasu believed this type of fish could improve his wife's condition. Rin spoke frankly. While your food technology has saved countless starving people, we still can't be sure if these fish are truly beneficial for patients, so it's best not to take the risk. Unfortunately, Vasu was determined to use the special fish livers to treat his wife. Meanwhile, Purish in the ER was already convulsing violently and died with blood erupting, his black pupils dilated wide. The doctors, unable to resuscitate him, were about to leave when unexpectedly, Purish on the bed suddenly came back to life. Failing to persuade him, Rin left the office, but she and the director hadn't even left the 10th floor when they heard heart-wrenching screams from ahead. A doctor in surgical scrubs stumbled towards them, only to be grabbed by Purich moments later. Rin watched in horror as he tore open his colleague's neck with his teeth, freezing her in place. Meanwhile, Singh at home quickly learned via radio broadcast that Prachameter Hospital, where Rin worked, was locked down. Reportedly due to an emergency, the government warned citizens not to approach the area. Singh immediately raced to the scene on his motorcycle, the untreated piece of fish still sitting in the enamel basin in his living room. By then, special forces had arrived for emergency containment. The entrance was jammed with people, mostly civilians worried about family members inside after hearing the broadcast. Their wives, husbands, children were all trapped inside that hospital building, but the soldiers guarding the entrance refused to explain further. Just then, a doctor was thrown down from above by zombies, the body hitting the ground with a sickening crunch, yet the woman was still twitching. Special forces cautiously approached to investigate. The lead soldier tried to help the woman up, only to discover she had already mutated, and he was accidentally bitten on the shoulder. The soldier quickly shot the woman in the head, but the bite wound on his shoulder was infected, meaning he would eventually mutate too. People inside the hospital crowded towards the first floor trying to escape. Special forces' warnings went unheeded, forcing them to fire warning shots. Singh seized the chance to blend into the crowd searching for Rin, while security guards in the lobby struggled to calm people down. Suddenly, several people ran out frantically as if fleeing a monster. Everyone stared bewildered towards the corner. Moments later, a zombie charged out. The guard quickly drew his baton to block, preventing himself from being bitten. However, it wasn't just 10 floors. With one floor invaded by zombies, the entire hospital had already fallen, the zombie virus spreading rapidly through bites. Rin and the director hid in the warehouse, not daring to run around, the latter covered in blood, likely already infected. Hearing no sound outside, Rin gathered her courage to push the door open and check, only to find the director had vanished the moment she turned her head. Rin looked everywhere, hearing strange rustling sounds from a cubicle. She moved closer for a look and saw the mutated director biting someone. Rin was horrified, and in an instant she was knocked down by a shelf. Luckily, the shelf blocked the way, preventing the director from grabbing her. She squeezed through the gap and ran outside. Just then, Singh's voice came over the broadcast. Rin rushed to the wall to respond, but the equipment was too old, and no one replied for a long time. The situation in the hospital escalated. Zombies were biting people everywhere on every floor, continuing like this. It would be hard for anyone to survive. Singh, not hearing his wife's reply in the broadcast room, was about to go look for her when he ran into zombies. He clenched his fists and entered combat mode. He kicked the zombie several times, but zombies were different from humans. Such attacks meant nothing to them. Realizing this, Singh yanked out an electrical cord and bound the zombie. He moved nimbly around it, and once the zombie was securely tied, he smashed its head with a punch. Singh fought his way out barehanded. Zombie heads under his fists were like ripe watermelons, exploding with blood plasma from a single iron punch. He had just reached the stairwell when he heard the shouts of the neighbor's child, Buddy. At that moment, Buddy had been separated from his mother, Mink. He heard noises behind a curtain and cautiously went to investigate. As soon as he lifted a small opening in the curtain, he collided with a zombie. Buddy stumbled back several steps, not expecting a woman zombie restrained by straps behind him. Buddy used all his strength to break free, only to find despairingly that the restraints snapped as the zombie pulled. He scrambled up in panic and fled, hiding trembling in the gap between a hospital bed and the corner. Strangely, that zombie was clever. Crawling under the bed slowly towards Buddy, in the critical moment, Singh arrived just in time. After killing the woman zombie, he got tangled with other zombies. Buddy shouted that they had to hit the head. Hearing this, Singh delivered an elbow strike to a zombie's head, specifically targeting the monster's heads for the kill. He grabbed a glass medicine bottle from a table and smashed down the last zombie. Buddy nearby looked on with admiration. He was about to approach Singh when a zombie on the floor grabbed him and bit his leg behind the knee. Singh rushed forward and kicked the zombie to death. But Buddy was already bitten. He told Singh to get away quickly and to take a message to his mom, saying he really loved her. After a wail of pain, Buddy realized that Zombie wore dentures, meaning his wound wasn't infected. Buddy jumped up and chased after Singh, begging him to take him to the 3rd floor to find his mom. Because Buddy's mom worked on the 3rd floor, finding her could mean finding Rin. Singh led him towards the 3rd floor. Meanwhile, the blood-stained security guard had finally stopped his rampage. He saw a little girl wandering around looking for her mother. The girl left the hall, saw corpses littering the floor, and walked towards the hospital exit. Unexpectedly, the Special Forces soldiers ahead immediately issued a warning. The security guard instinctively rushed over to block the girl, taking a bullet for her. The girl stared blankly ahead, the light from an explosion reflected in her pupils. At that moment, high-ranking officers were arguing upstairs. Because the hospital front line hadn't sent confirmed intel, they couldn't determine the exact problem. Bangkok's population is roughly 5 million, and the hospital has only 500 people. So the commanding officer gave the order to bomb the hospital. Even if they sacrificed all 500 people, they couldn't allow the zombie virus to escape. Receiving the orders, Special Forces soldiers planted bombs everywhere. Inside the hospital, Rin didn't know they'd been abandoned, still trying to find a way to save herself. She tried to enter the surveillance room but found the door locked. The guard with the keys on his belt had already been bitten by a zombie and was in the mutation stage. Disregarding the danger, Rin tore the keys off the guard, scrambling on hands and knees to the surveillance room door to unlock it. She quickly slipped inside, barricading the door with a cabinet. But the radio equipment on the desk was faulty. Several surveillance screens had limited views, only showing rampaging zombies. No sign of Singh. Elsewhere, Buddy led Singh to Mink's office on the 3rd floor. A work schedule on the wall showed Mink and Rin should be on duty on the 5th floor. Without delay, the two set off, but zombies soon caught their scent and charged. Singh quickly pushed Buddy aside, using swift sidekicks to fend off the attacking zombies. Seeing more and more zombies, Buddy yelled for Singh to escape out the back. They pulled an iron bed across the corridor, used the chance to hide in a ward, then Singh blocked the door with a cabinet. They then discovered a young man by a sickbed who, in despair, had chosen to end his own life. This shocked Buddy deeply, freezing him in place. Singh was struggling to hold back the zombie horde outside. He looked around, spotted a rear window, and climbed in to escape. But Buddy remained frozen, unresponsive. Singh shouted his name, finally snapping Buddy out of it, and he too climbed through the window. The next second, zombies broke down the door, pouncing on the father and son in the bed, biting frantically. Startled, Buddy hurriedly scrambled up the scaffolding, only to be spotted by a woman zombie. It slammed against the glass trying to grab him, but he kicked it away. Buddy tried to climb higher, but his backpack got snagged on a metal sheet. The woman zombie leaned out, grabbing his ankle, only to be hit by falling debris. Buddy now hung by one hand from the scaffold, feet dangling, about to lose his grip. Luckily, Singh turned back just in time to save him. The two entered the 5th floor through the window. Blood and zombies were everywhere, not a single living soul in sight. Meanwhile, Mink was hiding behind a desk. Breathing heavily, she heard faint noises ahead and tightly clutched her weapon, waiting for the right moment. Unexpectedly, the next second, Buddy peeked his head out. Mother and son were finally reunited. Mink told Singh that Rin had been called to the 10th floor by the director, then told Buddy to go with the brother. She would stay behind to care for the little baby here. Singh saw the bite wound on Mink's back, knowing she was lying to Buddy to make him leave, unwilling to let her son see her turn into a zombie. Buddy was clever. He knew something was wrong just from his mother's tone, so he absolutely refused to leave. Seeing this, Singh simply stepped forward and carried Buddy away, not letting him see his loved one lose control. Unexpectedly, Buddy, in his desperation, bit Singh, wanting to rush back to his mother. But Mink had fully turned into a zombie and was roaring through the glass window. Singh didn't have time to wait for Buddy to process the facts. He hoisted him onto his shoulder and prepared to evacuate. A large wave of zombies was running towards the two. Singh had no intention of fighting. He quickly escaped through the emergency exit. The scene shifts. Rin suddenly looked at the surveillance monitors. Amidst the chaos, Mr. Vasu appeared incredibly calm. Because the security measures in the room he was in were so thorough, even zombies found it hard to break in. Rin risked her life to run to the VIP ward for help. Fortunately, Vasu wasn't completely heartless. He opened the door to let Rin in and cautiously asked if she had been bitten. Rin quickly explained she was healthy. Now that she was finally in a safe environment, her tense nerves relaxed, making her feel even more fearful and anxious. Vasu comforted her to relax a little. This room was very safe. They didn't need to do anything, just wait peacefully for rescue. Sure enough, the commanding officer received orders from superiors demanding they rescue Mr. Vasu before bombing the building. Entering the hospital now was practically a suicide mission. Even though no one wanted to do it, orders couldn't be disobeyed. The scene shifts back to Singh. Buddy sat at the stairwell entrance refusing to move. His mother's death had taken away all his motivation. And besides, following Singh would only hold him back. Singh sat down beside Buddy, lending him a shoulder to cry on properly. Once he finished crying, he needed to be strong, to live well for his mother, and be a child she could be proud of. After crying, Buddy indeed pulled himself together. Meanwhile, Vasu entered his wife's isolation room and found the blood transfusion bag was almost empty. During the 5 years Anne had been hospitalized, Vasu never left her side, trying every possible way to save his beloved, but in the end could only sustain her life with transfusions. He couldn't let anything happen to his wife, so he asked Rin to go out and get blood bags. In return, Vasu promised to get Rin out of this hellhole. Rin, with her doctor's compassion, agreed to help him. At the same time, Singh and Buddy finally reached the 10th floor. He pulled out an iron rod to pry open the emergency door, and glaring light shone through the window, probably from something like a helicopter passing by. Buddy shouted excitedly, "Someone must be coming to rescue us." They didn't know that only 30 minutes remained until the explosion, and the elite squad's rescue target was only the Vasu couple. Rin hid in the shadows, observing the area around the blood bank, noticing a large number of zombies nearby. She took advantage of the monster's inattention and hurriedly slipped into a side room. A few minutes later, Singh also arrived nearby, holding an IV pole in one hand and leading Buddy with the other, hugging the wall to avoid zombies. Just then, Singh spotted a necklace on the floor. He recognized it as Rin's and frantically looked around. Sure enough, he saw Rin's figure flash past, disappearing into a ward not far away. Singh shouted loudly to attract the zombies' attention, then pushed a gurney forward. He was like a human lawnmower, plowing through the violent zombies along the way. Singh saw Rin through the blinds and noticed a zombie had entered the room where she was hiding. Singh grabbed the IV pole, charged over fiercely, forcefully thrust the IV pole into the zombie's head, finally reaching the room across from Rin. But there was still a glass partition between them. Buddy tried pushing the door but found it jammed. Singh quickly grabbed a fire extinguisher and smashed a gap. The quick-witted Buddy immediately crawled through. Seeing Rin was about to be grabbed by a zombie, Buddy grabbed the extinguisher and sprayed with all his might, successfully helping Rin escape. The smoke filling the room impaired the zombie's vision. Rin lowered herself and crawled towards the cold storage cabinet, but accidentally knocked over a tray on the floor. The zombies reacted to the sound. Rin covered her eyes in despair, but the next second, the zombie's head was blown apart by Singh. He slammed down on the corpse like a man possessed, directly pulping that fat head into mush. Rin hugged the out-of-control Singh, helping him regain his composure. Meanwhile, the elite squad fought their way to the 10th floor, found the Vasu couple in the VIP ward, and the accompanying medic immediately replaced Anne's blood bag. Rescuing just Vasu would have been easier, but now they had to push Anne's bed out too. The elite squad had no choice but to clear the path ahead, fighting fiercely with the zombies. Fortunately, they were well-equipped and highly trained. Only the medic, reacting too slowly, got bitten by a zombie, and the captain shot him dead without hesitation. With the medic dead, Vasu was unhappy. His wife absolutely needed a doctor accompanying her. The captain had no choice but to follow Vasu's order to rescue Rin. Seeing the soldiers approach, Singh was about to go ask them questions, but they shot him. These people completely disregarded the injured civilians. They just grabbed Rin and tried to evacuate. Rin struggled with all her might. Just then, another wave of zombies attacked. Singh clutched his wound and stood up. Ignoring the intense pain, he launched a flying kick to knock a zombie aside, then charged into the horde. After taking out several zombies nearby, he grabbed the armed squad leader, telling Rin to find a place to hide first. Then he scooped up a cane leaning against the wall and jammed the squad leader's gun muzzle. Singh turned with agile grace, circling behind the leader, and forcefully tightened the strap on his protective suit. The leader nearly suffocated, frantically shaking Singh off, and the two began fighting again. Singh used the leverage of a shoulder throw to trip the leader who, humiliated and enraged, lifted Singh and slammed him heavily against a vending machine, then threw punches with all his strength. Singh, in pain, elbowed the leader, but this move completely enraged him. The leader viciously leaned into Singh's wound, grinding it while locking his neck from behind. In the critical moment, a zombie charged over, forcing the leader to release Singh to deal with it. Singh seized the chance to get up and launch a sneak attack. The two traded punches in a fierce struggle until finally, both collapsed to the ground, unconscious. Rin rushed forward and dragged Singh away, treating the wounds on his body. Fortunately, Singh regained consciousness soon after. He finally had the chance to tell Rin that after leaving the hospital, he would quit his job, and they could move back to Chiangdao to live together. Sadly, the warm atmosphere was quickly shattered by zombies outside the door. The leader, with no one to save him, had become infected. In a corner unseen by them, the timed bombs had only 14 minutes left. Singh grabbed several alcohol bottles and smashed them on the leader's body, then threw a flare at him, the sparks instantly setting him ablaze. The leader was charred black by the flames. The smoke triggered the ceiling alarm, spraying jets of water to extinguish the fire. The zombies lying on the floor started writhing and convulsing upon contact with the water. They had walked less than 100 meters forward when they saw Vasu standing by the hospital bed, his wife already showing signs of mutation. Rin wanted to call Vasu to escape together, but Vasu, seeing his wife wake up and thinking her condition had improved, disregarded the danger and leaned close to her. And piles of zombies also pounced onto the bed, biting Vasu. Singh hurriedly took Rin and Buddy away. Unexpectedly, zombies soon smashed through the glass door, chasing them in hordes. Singh told Rin to take Buddy and leave first, while he stayed behind to hold off the zombies. Rin, having to consider the young Buddy could only obey, they soon reached the rooftop helipad. There, the Special Forces soldiers conducted a thorough examination of them to confirm if anyone was injured. After learning Vasu was infected, the soldiers reported the situation to the commander and prepared to evacuate them. Rin urgently begged the soldier to wait a little longer. Her husband was still behind. He would surely make it out. Facing their desperate pleas, the soldier could only stall for 5 more minutes at most. Meanwhile, Singh, surrounded by zombies, could only take refuge in a nearby car. Countless zombies now blocked the car on all sides, quickly shattering the glass and climbing inside. Trapped in the cramped space with nowhere to go, fortunately the car engine was crushed, causing an explosion that finally blasted the zombie horde apart. Yet a new wave of zombies surged in, and the bombs entered their final countdown. The soldier had no choice but to close the cabin hatch and prepare for takeoff. Singh made it to the rooftop, but it was too late to board the helicopter. The couple could only gaze at each other through the glass as the sun began to rise, zombies flooding towards him like a tide from behind. Knowing Rin was watching him, Singh gritted his teeth and fought until the very last second, until the bombs exploded, the building collapsed, and he vanished forever into the rubble. Later, Rin and Buddy moved back to Chiangdao to live. At the film's end, Singh reappears, concluding with an open ending. The film's overall quality is quite good. The zombie makeup is realistic. The blood plasma scenes are handled without restraint, and the male lead's action sequences are fluidly designed with impactful strikes. For an apocalyptic zombie genre like this, it essentially needs to grasp 2 key points: the humanity it portrays and the tension presented in this film. Setting aside the somewhat straightforward plotline, at least the fighting and chase sequences were well done.